has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
Yeah, Ferrall back on Coast to Coast. The in-game live experience is going to get more intense. Starting September 3rd, Carver High, I'll be doing the college football noon to 4 East in-game live with your boy, the mayor of Miami, Joe Ranieri. And then on the 11th, Sunday, a week later, not the next day, but a week later, on the 10th and 11th with college football on the 10th, the 11th is opening Sunday of the NFL. I'll be doing 1 to 4 East with your boy Morency on In-Game Live. It is going to be lit. College Saturdays, pro Sundays with your boy Uncle Futrelli rocking on In-Game Live, plus C2C all week long. So stoked. It's all evolving rapidly. We still got some baseball games to hit here at Carver High on a Tuesday before we finish saying we're going to make people a lot of money. We got to finish the games.
Yes, we do. The Athletics are in Arlington again against the Rangers tonight. J.P. Sears, who, of course, they got from the Yankees in the Montas deal, he faces the Rangers tonight. Arahari goes for them. Rangers minus 125, plus 105 for the A's, total of 8.
Yeah, I'm going to go Sears here. He's been great, right, for him, and we never saw really much of him in New York. I mean, he pitched well at times in the limited work they gave him. Now all of a sudden he's a star for the A's. I'm going to take the A's tonight in Texas. I had Otto and the Rangers last night and covered for you. I'm going to go to the other side of the street tonight with Oakland on the road in Arlington, and I'm going to keep it under.
The two favorites for the AL Cy Young, as we talked about earlier in the show, Scotty, they square off tonight in Chicago. Dylan Cease and Justin Verlander. Stros and the Sox, minus 125 for Houston now, plus 105 for Chicago. Low total, of course, with these guys on the mound, a flat 7.
I'm going to stay under. It's Verlander, the choice. My number 2 play on FerrallOnTheBench.com. Manoah is my number 1 play with the Jays. 2 is the Astros. I think they'll get it done. They're better than the White Sox, and I think Verlander's better than Cease. Should be a great game. I'll stay under, like I said.
Dodgers and the Brewers again tonight in Milwaukee. Brandon Woodruff goes for the Brewers. The kid Pipiot goes for the Dodgers, Scotty. Minus 125 for the Brewers, plus 105 for LA. Brewers favorite tonight. Total of 8 for this game. Man, you never get the Dodgers at plus money, Scotty. You never get the Dodgers at plus money. You do tonight against Woodruff.
Yeah, but I'm taking Woodruff and the Brewers, and I think this is going to be a wild game. I'm going to, in fact, go over here. Both guys are right around 4. That's why the number is where it is, and I'm going to take a shot with the Brewers to get it done and beat the Dodgers in Brewtown.
Mariners and the Angels tonight in Anaheim. Suarez and Robbie Ray, the pitchers, minus 175 for Seattle. Total of 7.5 in this one.
Right where it should be, but I'm on Robbie Ray and the over. I think they'll score on Suarez, and I think they'll beat him in Anaheim again.
And finally, the Diamondbacks and the Giants in San Francisco tonight. Merrill Lynch Kelly, who's been very good for us, going for the Diamondbacks, who are plus 105. Junis for the Giants, they're minus 125, total of 8.
I like to buy on Merrill Lynch Kelly. Give me the D-backs and the under here. Good game at Oracle.
There you go. That is your night in Major League Baseball. Let's cash ourselves, Scotty. A lot of tickets. We also welcome in all of our radio affiliates, Ferrall Coast to Coast on a Tuesday, Sirius XM 159, Sports Map, Sports Byline. Good to have everybody with us. All right, so for the final hour, Scotty, let's get into some NFL here. You mentioned earlier Zach Wilson. Pain day. Zach Wilson had surgery this morning in Los Angeles. Surgery was a success. No surprises from the original diagnosis. They will not put him on the field till he's 100%. I am with you. I would be very surprised if he played week 1 against the Ravens. I don't care what they say, 2 to 4 weeks. I would be stunned if they put him out there that quick.
I got to ask you this. I think they're actually dumb enough to play him. as an organization. They've been anemic.
Yeah.
They are absolutely embarrassing with the way they run their franchise. I wouldn't be surprised at all they start him. And my question to you is this. First of all, he buckled on his own. There was no hit. I don't believe in the bone bruise story. I believe that he tore his meniscus. I think he had a scope, had it cleaned up, fixed. Everybody's happy. I do not believe that in 4 weeks this kid can take a hit with a torn meniscus that's repaired in a scope, which is like putting fishing wire on it and tying a bow. You can ask, and believe me, I'm going to ask Dr. Zhivago this. You cannot tie that up with a shoestring and clean out the scar tissue, and then 4 weeks later get hit by a 300-pound linebacker. I am telling you, that kid cannot take a hit for at least 8 weeks, and even then, I'll bet my life that this year, this kid, you said it earlier, do you believe he's going to have a knee problem the whole year?
I believe that this will be a problem all year. In fact, out of 17 games, what's the over-under how many games he plays? You want to say 10? You want to do the over-under at 10, 12? Where do you want to put the over-under for Zach this year?
7.
7. Wouldn't stun me. Wouldn't stun me at all. I do not believe in 3.5 weeks he's going to be out there for the first game against the Ravens. But you're right. Jets always jet. And it's very possible that they'll go and rush him out there and put him there. I just can't see a kid go operating table to field in 3.5 weeks.
Listen,
something like this.
They have great draft picks. They do have a future. But I think Salah so far has been worth it.
Sports Grid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
They play less games.
The early line.
Take a look at the top 4 seeds here in the Big Ten. They're going to play less.
Rodgers and
the morning
Russell
after.
Wilson. We saw movement in the marketplace like
Fantasy Sports
the
Today.
Cleveland Cavaliers are a little thin as well.
Newswire.
Minus 160 favorite on the money line today for Arizona.
Ferrall Coast to
PBG,
Coast.
that's where they win cups. They win Stanley Cups over there. Give me the
Game
Penguins.
time
kind
decisions.
of bizarre when you consider everybody is out for the Warriors.
In-game live,
I
all
like
access.
I like Vandy against Bama. I think Vandy can win the game, take a 4.5.
In-game live, prime time.
The PGA champion.
In-game live, overtime.
Done before the final bet.
Get the winning edge. Only on Sports Grid. Diamond Bets.
Dodgers heading into the weekend, minus 160. This morning, when you wake up bright and early and you get the crust out of your eye, it's plus 155. The Mets were plus 220 after Jacob deGrom's 1-0 win yesterday, plus 200. So the Mets are getting ever closer here, my friend, to this National League number. It's a 3-team race for the National League crown. It's the Dodgers, it's the Mets, it's the Braves. What's fascinating to me is that the Brewers are still plus 1,400 and the Cardinals are plus 15.
Only on Sports Grid. Ferrall Coast to Coast.
They're not going to start him. So if he comes in, hypothetically, let's say things don't go well and you're at the halfway point, week 8, week 9, you start playing him. I don't believe you can win Rookie of the Year starting halfway through. That kid, Pickens, if they throw him the ball enough, he has looked phenomenally well over any kid I've seen yet.
The Sports Grid Network.
Sports Professor Rick Horrow inside the $1.3 trillion business of sports with your daily numbers game. Well, California went from one of those states that no way are we going to have gambling of any kind, no casino sponsorships, no revenue at all except for Indian gaming, which is grandfathered in. Now, Prop 26 on the ballot in November allows for gaming on Indian reservations and 4 other designated casinos. Prop 27, which is also on the ballot in November, funded by FanDuel, DraftKings, and all of the big boys, dollars for homeless, for infrastructure, and otherwise, but also allows betting in the normal way across the state. Both may be passing. Some say it'll dilute the support if you have to choose. But at the end of the day, it is looking like California, here we come, for gaming, a tremendous expenditure by the big boys, and also the teams, including Major League Baseball, stepping out supporting Prop 27.
So we used to go to the 34th Street studio where Carver High is, and Mafia'd be there, I'd be there, Carver High'd be there. And then right when football started, 3-4 weeks in, he'd always say to Mafia when he saw Mafia come walking in the door, he'd go, "How's your Jets doing?" I mean, it was just, right for the throat. Right when he came in the door, he's like, "How's the Jets doing?" I mean, they'd be 0-4, and Mafia'd be ready. He'd be in the bathroom with a rope.
Look, I know what it's like. I lived it for 20 plus years, that's for sure. Up until 2 years ago, it wasn't any fun walking in the door on Mondays after my team played. That's for sure. So, thankfully, we're back in the mix. Let's go through a couple of these NFL stops for today, Scotty. We will start in Cleveland, where, of course, the Browns need to start getting Jacoby Brissett ready to play opening day. Now, we know he's going to play that. We're not sure how long he's going to play this year yet, but he is going to play at the start of the season. And here's Kevin Stefanski, Scotty, trying to sell you that he's very comfortable with Brissett being the quarterback of the Browns.
I think he's been sharp since April. So I've been very impressed by Jacoby, very comfortable with him. I think understand his skill set. I think he has a very good understanding of what we're trying to do offensively.
Yeah, very good understanding.
I mean, to tell you, it is so embarrassing listening to these guys try to sell some hack career backup as the starting quarterback when he knows his rapist is going to sit for a year, and he's trying to convince you that he's got it all figured out with Jacoby Brissett. Let me tell you what, that's like having gas all day. Sometimes you just have to go yam up. I mean, honestly, your boy sucks. Stop trying to sell us Jacoby Brissett. Go have a bowel movement. Do something, because you're lying. And you're trying to sell this to us, Stefanski, like we're all stupid. Stop. You sound like these guys on the radio in New York trying to tell me the Jets are going to be good every year and the Giants. Every year the Jets and Giants are going to the Super Bowl. And I like what I see. I like what I see over here. I'm like, shut up. Couldn't stand working with those people. Idiots. Bunch of losers.
The Browns are having a tough couple days on the offensive line too, Scotty. Of course, they lost their starting center in the preseason game on Friday night. And then in practice, they lost their rookie center, Dawson Deaton. He tears his ACL. So they are looking for somebody to snap the ball to whoever is going to be playing quarterback for them. Obviously, at the beginning, Jacoby Brissett. All right, this is from this morning at Giant Camp. Now, we talked about this yesterday. We talked about Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor and how Jones looked awful, Taylor looked good. So this is always, and you know, you just mentioned it, New York media. You crack the door open a little bit, people are going to run through it. So Dable was asked if Tyrod Taylor would start to take some snaps with the first team. And Dable makes a mistake, Scotty, by, of course, saying, yeah, we're going to start to do a little bit of that, but then tries to backtrack and say, oh, no, but that's something we were planning on doing anyway. Here's Brian Dable.
Yeah, he'll get, as we get going here in terms of the preseason games, we'll talk about whatever we think is best. But, I have full confidence in Daniel and full confidence in Tyrod and what his role is. Each day we sit there, we evaluate the guys, but, will he get a few reps here or there? He might.
Brian, will that be, is that any reflection on Daniel? Or?
Absolutely not, no. I mean, I learned from a pretty good coach a while ago, usually he doesn't tell those guys when he throws them in because that's what the backup's job role is you have to go in a split second and not you prepare like you're a starter, but, fourth play of the game, something happens, you're in, you got to be ready to go. So, I don't necessarily think we'll tell those guys when that'll happen.
Listen, I'm telling you, Danny Pennies. Forget about Danny Dimes. Danny Pennies. I mean, this guy has been nothing in New York short of a failure. I mean, honestly. And I'm watching Taylor running around singing nice strikes the other night. I'm like, Jesus, he's better than Jones. And I've always said it, like, I'm bored saying this all the time. Here's another guy. What, he's going to tell me who's that great coach he learned from? McDermott, the guy that handled that 13 seconds the way he did? Dable's a better coach than McDermott. So I don't want to listen to it. The Giants quarterback situation is like having a fat girlfriend.
Let's
you
go
heard
to
me.
Detroit now,
Am I
Scott.
stuttering?
Now, of course, this week you're going to get a lot of teams practicing with each other ahead of their preseason games. We already talked earlier, and we'll talk about it again, that the Panthers and Patriots were involved in quite the brouhaha earlier this morning. The Lions are going to be practicing with the Colts this week before their preseason game. Here's Dan Campbell, Scotty. Now, he doesn't encourage fighting during training camp. Also doesn't sound like it bothers him either. Here's Dan.
It was a player, you learn how to fight. So back in the day when I was, well, you learn that you always get involved. That's one. And two is you learn, you keep your head on a swivel. But, now that was early in my career. When I got to Dallas, I remember we were getting ready to, we're going to practice against the Texans. I remember Coach Parcells stood up in front of the room and was like, no fighting. Anybody fights, you're done. And everybody believed it. So we didn't have one fight and got great work. So we just have to make an emphasis of that. I know they will, we will. We're not out there to fight, but we're going to compete and have good work. So I would say most of the experiences I've had have been really good. Really good.
All right, first of all, if I run the network, honestly, at my age, I fired a guy that chose the Lions for Hard Knocks. Whoever made that decision gets fired. Second of all, they went 3-13-1. That's ass butter where I come from. I am sick and tired of hearing about the Lions. I've already told you this 1,000 times. I mean, they have sucked since before Christ. And I mean, it is just a never-ending. Someone explained to me how we keep talking about this team. Last year, I went to the tie game. I should be in jail for going to that game. I went to see him tie the Steelers. I should be beaten like whipped with a chain for going to that game. Look, they're the worst team in the history of football in any world, including any kind of football at any level. I had a Pop Warner team I played on that was better than the Lions.
But their coach
is
entertaining, and that's why.
Whatever. That's the only reason they're on there, and he's not that entertaining. That story he just told sucked. Stop. My dinner's better.
Let's go to Mike McDaniel now, the nerd. We already like him here on Coast to Coast. The press tried to ask him if Tua is going to play in the preseason game this week. Let's hear Mike's response.
There's so many compounding variables that I would hesitate to say yes he is or no he's not, because I haven't made totally that decision.
His wife's in it for the
I have
money.
a best guess, but again, I let the stuff on the field and what's best for the Miami Dolphins lead the charge. So about the same timeline as it was last week, I'll know this week if he's going to play or not.
Dress rehearsal. Dress rehearsal.
Everybody take breath. All right? Huh?
So you have your best guess as to what's going to happen?
I mean, I'm not in the game of guess. So and come on, you guys are too veteran. The second I guess something, now you're tipping the scales one direction, because you'll definitely hold me accountable for said guess. So I'm not going to tip the scales on that, so to speak. And I appreciate you guys' your patience with me in that regard, and your trust that I mean what I say.
Oh, this guy is a gem. He is so much better than that Campbell guy. That Campbell guy's the guy I used to get weed from and drink at the bar with after he gave me the weed. I mean, honestly, that guy's as dumb as a box of rocks. This guy is smarter than everybody in the room. How about it? Did you see the head snapping around? He's like, whoa. I love that guy. More of him on the show, less of the idiot with the big muscles.
We will come back and hear from another one of our favorites, Bill Belichick on Coast to Coast.
Your heart's racing. The clock's running out. It all comes down to this. We're talking pregame. 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 Get locked in with Game Time Decisions. Your hosts, Gabe Morency and Cam Stewart, will get you ready for game time. Everything you need to know before a game goes off the board, with the bet slips to back it up. Make your best bet with live odds updates, late breaking news, up-to-the-minute injury reports, and real-time analytics from inside the sportsbooks. All the odds, all the action, from sports wagering insiders and industry pros like Donnie Rightside, Gam Lou, Cousin Sal, the Pro Football Doc, Dr. David Chow, and more. Get the winning edge every weekday afternoon from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern, 3 to 4 Pacific. It's Game Time Decisions. Only on Sports Grid.
You might be the next daily fantasy millionaire. No matter what you watch or where you play, learn from the world's best DFS players. Lineup building tools, expert projections, and advanced stats change the way you play the game. Dominate the competition. DailyRoto.com, the player's choice.
Pro Football Doc has found its new home right here with Sports Injury Central. And with that comes our expansion into other sports. Sports Injury Central will give you nonstop exclusive injury analysis from experienced team doctors from all 3 major sports. Doctors with resumes that include teams like the Chicago Bulls, the Texas Rangers, and the LA Chargers. So gain a fantasy, DFS, and betting edge right now for free at SICScore.com.
Diamond Bets.
Fernando Tatis Jr. getting popped for a PED suspension for 80 games. Now, I know performance-enhancing drugs are something that, even here at the network, they encourage us, especially myself. They say, please, can you enhance your performance just a little bit more, Joe? This year, it's not going to happen next year for a good chunk of the season. And guess what? This is more important now that you added Juan Soto. So obviously this news rocked Major League Baseball.
Only on Sports Grid. Ferrall, Coast to Coast.
If we're going to treat everyone the same in this world, then he deserves to be treated the same way. A-Rod, McGuire, Sosa. I believe all of his numbers are phony. He's a fake. He is a cheater. He is a user. He is a fraud. He is a steroid guy. All those numbers, those jacked home run totals. He hit a home run every day.
The Sports Grid Network.
Between Carver High's props, which are Ring the Bell City, it's just every night, just constant taters hitting, strikeouts hitting, games, situational props hitting, just constant money making. And then he gets this BetMGM $10 bet going every night, like when his wife's not looking. Hot Nicole doesn't even see him. He's out on the side of the house laying down 10 on this game, that game, because he knows he's going to get 200 clams if either team hits a home run, and he's Tater City. Use the bonus code MLBHR2022. BetMGM, the greatest thing ever invented, more so than the Edson Diesel.
It's definitely better than the Edson Diesel. There's no question about that. Get involved tonight. BetMGM app, got to be there. More NFL for you. So the Panthers and the Patriots are doing the joint practices before they play each other on Friday night. They got into a huge brawl earlier this morning, Scotty. I know that Adam was there. You'll talk to him in a little bit. He'll have more details on the brawl for you. This is all from yesterday before the teams got together. Bill Belichick, Scotty, actually in a very chipper mood, believe it or not. Even questions about the offense and how poor they've looked and who's calling the plays. Even that got a little smile. Didn't get a good answer, but at least he smiled at some people yesterday. Here's Bill.
What's the nature of that process? Is it competitive, like it is for the players, where you're competing for opportunity and being evaluated?
No, that doesn't have anything to do with it.
Then how would you characterize the process?
We don't have time for that. I appreciate the question. I really do. I know how interested you are in that subject, and I'd love to be able to shed a little more light on it, but honestly, it's a much longer conversation.
It's not competitive, so you did shed some light on it.
Yeah. Hey, just trying to help out.
This guy is just a rock star. I mean, that guy, we got to have more of him as always. Until he's gone, we keep bringing it right back to the woodshed.
And that's good. When you get the little smiling Bill and he still doesn't answer the question, give you the business, sometimes that's even better.
Who's your ranking now? Is it Belichick, McDaniel, Tomlin, Campbell? I know you love Campbell. What's your top 5?
McDaniel he's getting up the list pretty fast. That guy's gold at those press conferences. He's really good. I think McDaniel's already cracked the top 5 for me. There's a few guys we haven't seen a lot of yet this year. We're going to have to work a few more. I like the guys who act like they've done something when they haven't. I love the Arthur Smith types who think that they're they've won 4 Super Bowls and they've never done a thing. I like those
Sirianni.
guys. I like Sirianni, but Sirianni's he makes the playoffs and now he's doesn't say anything anymore. It's like he learned how to be a football coach. It's upsetting. We need more out of Nick. I need to dig a little deeper into Nick's press conferences. He's got to have some.
What about Santa Claus? What about Santa Claus, Lovey?
Santa Claus probably have some good things to say this year too, with all the losing he's going to be doing down there. So the Panthers are in town to play the Patriots. Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold will split first-team reps this week against the Pats. First-round pick Ike Ekwonu is going to be the team's starting left tackle. But here's Bill Belichick again, Scotty. Why? Because he loves football guys like Matt Rule. Matt Rule is a football guy, Scotty, and Bill loves guys like that.
On all levels, whether it's recruiting, motivation, strategic development of players. Say not all the players at those 2 schools are necessarily the top high school prospects going there, but he turned out a lot of good players, and so had a good connection with him when he was at Temple, and some mutual friends there and so forth. But followed him, and then watched him come into this league, and I have a ton of respect for the way he approaches the game. He's a football guy, and so we have a lot in common there. We really enjoy football.
Yeah, I think that's a load of BS because I'm going to stand by what I've said all along. I think Matt was a great college coach, and then it ended right there.
When you hear Bill talk like that about people, they usually end up on his staff a couple years later. Bill's laying the groundwork there. Like him, he's a football guy.
Maybe.
So when he gets whacked from the Panthers,
you're probably
you should
right.
go call Bill. Because Bill's probably the guy that he can go and look at. All right, it's prop boat time. We're going to start to do this as we get closer to the start of the season, Scotty. We have the prop boat for divisions here in the NFL. And since we just heard from Bill and the nerd McDaniel and all these guys, we'll do the AFC East here today. This is division finishing position, Scotty. So you can actually bet right here on where they finish in the AFC East. You could bet a team to finish last. You could bet a team to finish first. The Bills, of course, are the favorite to win the AFC East, but maybe we like the Dolphins there to finish second, Scotty. Little plus money for that. Maybe we like the Jets to finish last. You can bet where they finish in a division.
Yeah, I like that Jets odds at second. What is that number?
The Jets odds for second, I believe, is in the plus 1,100 range, Scotty. That is a big number.
Sign me up. Sign me up. It's the same thing Warren Sharp said. I'm buying in. Obviously, it could go either way. They'll either sink or swim. Tua either steps up and gets it on, or he's doomed down in South Florida. I think he's going to step up. I love their speed. I love their receivers. I love their tight end, their defense, their coaches. I love this kid. I hope he coaches as well as he talks and thinks, which generally goes hand in hand with one another. He's a smart dude, so he obviously is going to be very creative and I think exploit weaknesses on teams. I've always loved guys that game prep that are smarter than the other coach, and he figures out. That's what Belichick always did. He always figured out what your weakness was or your strength, both, and he took them away from you. Your strength and then your weakness he exploited too all day.
Now you have the straight forecast. You can bet teams to finish first and second in the division. Bills first, Dolphins second is the favorite, Scotty. Plus 190 if you would like to bet that. Bills first, Patriots second is the same price. And then you can go down and down the line. How about Dolphins first, Bills second at 6-1, plus 600 if you think the Dolphins are going to win the division?
Yeah, I still don't think that's going to happen. I think the top bet is the one that makes the most sense.
That is the one that I will be playing as well, Scotty. Plus 190, Bills first, Dolphins second. That is where I like. So we'll continue to sprinkle the prop boat around throughout the rest of the few weeks till the season starts. I'm going to save Shanahan and Harbaugh for tomorrow, Scotty, because there's some college that I want to get to with you. Former Raiders defensive end Carl Nassib is going to sign with the Bucs. Sounded like that's a foregone conclusion this morning. Dolphins signed cornerback Mackenzie Alexander. Did you know that 27 teams have signed USFL players so far? You sent me that note last night as well. A lot of guys in USFL getting opportunities. We'll see how many make the final cut-down rosters. Steelers lost 2 guys, Scotty. Safety Carl Joseph, wide receiver Anthony Miller, both done for the season. Miller a shoulder, Joseph an ankle.
Well, thank God they didn't matter anyway.
Thank God they didn't matter anyway is right. Yesterday, now let's do the college. Yesterday, I gave you the top 25 preseason AP poll. So now I will give you all of those teams in what form? In the form of odds to win the national title. That is right. As we know, Alabama is at the top of the chart, Scotty, to win the national championship. There they are in the top left corner. Alabama currently sitting, Scotty, at plus 190. Ohio State at plus 320. Georgia at plus 350. And then you get to Clemson 12-1. There's the U down there at 66-1 in the 16 slot, Scotty. The U at 66-1.
Well, I think the U is going to be a good football team this year, but they have too many brutal games on the road.
Yes.
They got 3 brutal games on the road. They're going to lose at least 2 of them. And that means you're not winning the national championship. Listen, reading that graphic was like trying to read the back of a beer can from 20 feet away. But I will say this, that I hate Ohio State dead. Nothing on earth. I hate them. But I think they have a legitimate shot. They are loaded. They are dangerous. They have a great quarterback. They have a great coaching staff, great depth, talent across the board, all 5-star. And a lot of people believe they are going to beat Notre Dame's ass at the Horseshoe. And I heard today all day long people saying Notre Dame is overrated and overranked as usual because everyone just loves to throw Notre Dame in the top 5 every year that we're on this earth. And they're not that good. And they got brutal road games too and a brutal schedule. And you start the season off losing at Ohio State, you're right behind the 8 ball and you got problems.
Yeah, they're going to get whacked by the Buckeyes in the first game, and I'm a Notre Dame fan. All right, here's Lane Kiffin, Scotty. He needs a punter for the Ole Miss Rebs this year. So where did he go? He went on campus to find one. Here's Lane Kiffin.
Hey, you guys have also added a punter to your roster. Can you talk a little bit about him?
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about him. I think he was down at the frat house, like at a keg party or something, where they got him from. So we got some conditioning work to do with my guy, but we just said, hey, someone go find a punter around campus. And so we found one that actually used to punt in Division I. So you never know.
Had a kegger.
Listen, that was fantastic right there. I mean, that was the best thing I heard all day on this show was that they went down to the frat house at the kegger and got the punter. And my boy's a little fat, needs some conditioning, but we're good to go with him. I love that. That was the best thing that happened to me today.
Tomorrow, I will give you SEC over-under win totals for all the teams in the SEC. I will give them to you tomorrow.
He's another guy that I put in the top 10. Lane Kiffin is fun to listen to.
Sports Grid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
People are going to the betting window
betting
and betting them now before the trade takes place.
How dare they do what's fiscally responsible? See how it plays out. Buffalo's going all in right
Football
now.
full circle.
All their chips in the middle of the table. It's do or die for them.
And Godwin being out, they've had a little bit of a shakeup.
In-game live all access.
You could take the points. You could take the money line. And
we had to go to San Jose, too. Maybe a small play on San Jose. I'm going to go both underdogs here. I don't want to hear it anymore.
Wow. In-game
Phillies here,
prime
over
time.
-128. You do have to lay a little bit of wood here, Donnie, but I think against Patrick Corbin.
But, boy, you want to give me 8.5 points with a desperate team facing elimination.
Get the winning edge. Only on Sports Grid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
You might be the next daily fantasy millionaire. No matter what you watch or where you play, learn from the world's best DFS players. Lineup building tools, expert projections, and advanced stats change the way you play the game. Dominate the competition. DailyRoto.com, the player's choice.
Diamond Bets.
Dodgers heading into the weekend, -160. This morning, when you wake up bright and early and you get the crust out of your eye, it's +155. The Mets were +220 after Jacob DeGrom's 1-0 win yesterday, +200. So the Mets are getting ever closer here, my friend, to this National League number. It's a 3-team race for the National League crown. It's the Dodgers, it's the Mets, it's the Braves. What's fascinating to me is that the Brewers are still +1,400 and the Cardinals are +15.
Only on Sports Grid. Ferrall, coast to coast.
10 years ago, you couldn't even touch California. Now, Prop 26 is one that allows Indian gaming on Indian lands and 4 casinos. Prop 27 everywhere. And needless to say, FanDuel, DraftKings, all the big boys are supporting Prop 27, including Major League Baseball. Prediction is it passes in a landslide, and they creatively say...
The Sports Grid Network.
All right, Adam Kaplan is our NFL insider. He had the joy of being at the Pats-Panthers joint practice today, and he saw the brawl breakout. We'll talk about that, but the one thing I want to start with before we get into the brawl is the fact that this whole Judge Patricia story that the media is running with this week, that suddenly the Patriots don't know who's going to call the plays, and that the franchise is going to fold and they're going to lose every game they play. And I've heard that Mac Jones suddenly sucks and that he can't command the first unit at practice, and he's slipping horribly and his career's in jeopardy. I have literally heard this come out of the mouths of broadcasters and reporters this week up there covering that team and wherever the hell they are. All I know is I don't believe any of that nonsense for 1 minute. Now all of a sudden they're going to suck because of this media story that's been created, that they're terrible now because these two fatzos can't call a play. Give me a break.
Yeah, understand something with Bill Belichick. There's not one NFL head coach other than Andy Reid who knows both sides of the ball better. He just does. Okay, you have to understand he's a football savant. Belichick was involved in 2009 when Josh McDaniels was the Broncos head coach. Bill O'Brien was the main play caller. Brady and Belichick had significant input in the play calling, if you will. And now you fast forward to 2022, and Belichick will again. Now, it's a funny story. So over the last 3 weeks, as you know, I've been on this tour, and I was just we exchanged stories when you when you meet personnel people, you catch up. They ask you where you've been, and you tell them. They said one GM said to me, "Have you been in New England?" I said, "No, but I've read everything that's out there, and I've talked to people there." And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I've read everything." He goes, "The media typically has no idea." This GM said, "Has no idea what they're looking at when they go to practice, but you do take note because these teams get news clips every morning. If it's 2 weeks and the offense looks really bad, you have to ask yourself what's going on there." But he also said, as you did, Bill Belichick will figure this out. He's not worried about it, and everyone has a high respect for Belichick. But the thing is, and you talked about Mac Jones, he is so smart. Someone of the Patriots told me last year and saw me on the field today and said the same thing. They've never been around someone who processes better other than Brady. He's just a rare guy. He's also almost savant-like. Remember who's brought him up in the game from the college level? Nick Saban. It's pretty good. So they'll get it together. But I want to say one thing. To lose Josh McDaniels and not think there's going to be some impact, it's ridiculous. To think there won't be some sort of regression with the offense, you can't expect it to be much better than it was last season, though they've surrounded, and we'll get into that, they've certainly surrounded with better talent. Ferrall, you're talking about one of the best play callers in the National Football League over the last 20 years in Josh McDaniels. That's not a good thing.
Well, listen, fair enough. I'm not one to refute any of that, but I am sitting here saying, the whole time you're telling me this, I'm saying, Tom Brady is the reason they were so great. And you're going to give the credit to Josh McDaniels of the Super Bowl wins. Tom Brady, end of story. That kid coached in Denver and Indy. In Indy, wet his pants. In Denver, he was a hack. What happened to the genius then? Where was the genius then without Tom Brady? Tom Brady's the reason they won.
Let me ask you a question. How did the Patriots do so well last year? I know they got blown out in the playoffs, but how do you think they did so well? Josh McDaniels helped develop.
I don't dispute that he can do his job. I dispute that he's the reason listen, I think Mac Jones, everything you said about him is dead on. And I also believed, I saw it when he was playing for Saban. The kid was so accurate, so consistent. He threw beautiful dimes. His accuracy was ridiculous. And I am not surprised at all that kid came into the NFL and won 10 games. Now all of a sudden he sucks because some reporter says, boy, he looks real stagnant with that first unit. Shut up. This kid can play drunk and still win 10 games. They'll be in every game they play this year, and you know it.
And by the way, he was really good today. Like he's got such great timing. He was really good today. Again, a Panther secondary is one of the best in the National Football League. We'll get to them in a second. But Tyquan Thornton, the rookie receiver out of Baylor, was great today. Devontae Parker, who they acquired from the Dolphins, also had a very good day. He gives them something, Ferrall, that they really have not had. Size at receiver and a guy who could run. So the thing is about the Patriots receiver corps, it's pretty deep. May not be great, but it should be good enough, and their pass protection will be good. Their offense is intriguing. You just have to understand there's some growing pains here when you go from a guy like Josh McDaniels to two new guys. And Matt Patricia is more or less the guy. Joe Judge is coaching the quarterbacks, which is new for him. Remember, he coached special teams before and also receivers.
So tell me about the fight that broke out. I heard that you were in the middle of it.
By the way, they had two of them. The first one was the one that went over a minute, and it wound up seeing two receivers from the Patriots thrown out of practice. One of them was Kendrick Bourne, and then Christian Wilkinson, who's more of a young journeyman who's been in the league for 3 years and really hasn't played much. But Bourne was not happy. I mean, he was pretty hot when he was told to leave. And Belichick made sure, and so did Matt Rule, anyone fights, they're thrown out of practice. And then maybe 20 minutes later, there was one maybe for 20 seconds, which got broken up quickly. But you're at the point at 3 weeks into camp, guys have had enough, and now they're going against each other. And these are two teams, by the way, that almost certain to me are going to be in the playoffs one way or the other, whether they win a division or they get a wild card in their respective conferences. But it was good to see them work today. And I could tell you this, though, the Panthers, this is the best roster that Matt Rule in his 3 years has put together. They've done a phenomenal job. The one issue, though, is the quarterback, which we'll talk about in a minute. But you could see today both quarterbacks had it going on. They had their moments.
I want you to tell me about Taekwondo, the receiver that had such a great day. But first, tell me about Rule in the sense of you're talking about that they have loaded up and they look fantastic, and that they're going to sail over the 6.5. They got Baker, they got Darnold, they got Castle, they got the kid Corral from Ole Miss. And so my question is this: if they don't succeed, if they fail again, as bad as they were last year after starting 3-0, and then they were terrible the rest of the season, how long will Tepper put up with Matt Rule's college ways?
Yeah, he won't. Obviously, there would be a change. Let's be honest about it. I know where you're going here. The expectations are there. Okay, maybe Vegas is not. Only 6.5 is the over/under. You got to be kidding me.
Right.
The over is +105, under -125. This is the best roster they've had in years. The only real weakness, you could say, is the offensive line, where they have 4 changes. Now, I'm told Bradley Bozeman, who had a very good chance to be their starting center, I'm told he suffered an ankle injury today. Told he's pretty iffy for week 1 against the Browns. Pat Elflein, who used to start for the Vikings at center, who's fighting Bozeman for that starting job. He'll be the center for now. They made a change at left tackle. Ike Ekwonu, their left tackle, their first-round pick, he has now been installed as the starter. He didn't start last week. Brady Christensen did. Christensen, I'm told, will go to guard, where he's competing against Michael Jordan. No, not that one. The other Michael Jordan, formerly of the Bengals. And Christensen was a great story, who's played 4 positions for the Panthers. He should wind up starting at one of the guard spots. One of the best stories, by the way, of camp for the Panthers, yes, Mayfield, who I'm told is the clubhouse leader. It's not just him. C.J. Henderson, you might remember him, a former first-round pick of the Jaguars. He has been one of their best defensive players, not only in their OTAs, but in training camp. He's got a sort of a rebirth here with the Panthers, and they've got one of the best, I'd say, the top 3, top 4 secondaries in the National Football League. See, the problem is, Ferrall, you and I talked about this before. When Christian McCaffrey got hurt against Houston, that's also when J.C. Horn broke his foot. They were 3-0. They won that game. They were 3-0. Their season went in the tank after that. They lost 4 in a row, then 7 out of 8, and their season was over. They got to have better quarterback play. Mayfield's going to win that job. They haven't named the job. I'm told they may name a starting quarterback after this second game, the second preseason game. Mayfield's the clear leader here. Darnold, who's running with the second team, is going to have to have great practice tomorrow, again, with the Patriots, and also have a great game against them, or it's going to be Mayfield. But they feel so good about this roster. Don't forget, they got Johnny Hecker, the former Rams punter. But the thing is, they got to protect better. Their offensive line was terrible last season. But they got McCaffrey back. He got some limited snaps in today. He's healthy. They've got a good team here. Yeah, the Bucs are the clear favorite. If you and I had to pick the division now, it's the Bucs. To me, right now, the Panthers, though, they've got a real shot at a wild card.
So tell me about Taekwondo Thornton, the wiry receiver.
Loved him. He is now you say wiry. That's exactly the way he looks. 6'2" and 3/8, 181 pounds. He ran a 4.28 40 at the combine. He made some plays today. Now, over time, he's going to have to bulk up, probably in the 190s. But, yeah, he made some plays. They've look, with Parker, Thornton, Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar is being paid a lot of money. The 2 tight ends are really talented. In fact, they're going to be more of a 2 tight end to receiver offense. Damian Harrison, the last year of his rookie deal, is their lead back, who's great around the goal line. They've got a lot of talent here as well. They got to put it all together. The passing game was sort of inconsistent last year, but Mac Jones will progress. I do like them. They're not going to win that division. In fact, I think Miami's going to be better than them. I heard you and your Mike talking before I came here about Miami. I do like Miami a little bit better than New England this season.
Fair enough. So do I. Tell me about Ekwonu stealing that job. The rookie high draft pick in the first round already solidified as the starter.
Yeah, so Ike Ekwonu got off to a slow start for in training camp. It just things you got to give the guy time, and he's come on. He is now their starting left tackle. He's one of their 4 offensive line changes. In fact, not only was he their number 1 offensive lineman on their board, I could tell you as a fact at least 10 teams had him as their top offensive lineman for this draft. So Panther fans, you no longer have to laugh at this offensive line. It's going to be good. And again, how in the world are they only at 6.5 from FanDuel? To me, I take that plus 105 all day. If you like betting over-unders, that over-under is easy to say over. And it's plus. It's not even minus. I would love to know what Las Vegas is thinking. I get it, they were bad last season. Well, they had the injuries. They're healthy right now.
Well, let me ask you, speaking of health, about Zach Wilson. We talked about him today on the show at great length. I want to get your end of it. I said earlier, in short, that I don't believe a guy that has his fishing wire put on his meniscus tear and a clean scope vacuum of his knee, which is essentially what he had done today in Los Angeles in layman's terms. They cleaned it up and they sewed it up. And now you're going to tell me that guy can take a hit from a 300-pound linebacker? The thing blew out. No one even touched him. Are they going to have a guy to play 7 or 8, 9 games this year? Another problem on their hands at quarterback?
Here's the issue. It's not the meniscus trim. It's typically, I'm told, a 2 to 3 week rehab. It's the bone bruise. Players tell me, Ferrall, it's the pain and the swelling. You got to let it kind of recede. And Joe Flacco is the fill-in. He is the number 2 quarterback until Wilson's ready. And Mike White, who did a good job last year, coming out of nowhere. But I would put him iffy week 1 against the Ravens. But keep it on that bone bruise. That'll keep him. That's what's going to keep him from practicing if he doesn't leading up to that game. But you're right. They got to take this slowly, and they will. They're not going to put an exact timeline when he'll be back. But with the bone bruise, it's more of a 3 to 4 week injury rather than 2 to 3.
How do you get a bone bruise when no one hits you?
It's weird, but here's how. The awkwardness, yes, it was a non-contact injury, but the awkwardness when he stuck his knee into the ground.
Unbelievable. Try to stay out of fights tomorrow, Adam. Honest to Christ.
Let's do that.
If you want to pick like a pro, you need to be in the know. The future of sports gaming is now, and we take you inside the lines, breaking down all the action and what it means for your bet slip. Turn down the game and tune into Sports Grid Radio. Other networks talk sports talk, but we walk the walk, right up to the window. Sports Grid Radio.
Listen free on the Sports Grid Radio app, iHeart, or TuneIn, or catch us on Sirius XM Sports Grid Channel 159.
Maurice Allen, 2015-2016 European Long Drive Tour champion, 2017 world number 1. Me personally, I keep my game face on me all the time. Especially coming out of the bunker, leaving the range, or even leaving the course. What's your story?
Pro Football Doc has found its new home right here with Sports Injury Central. And with that comes our expansion into other sports. Sports Injury Central will give you nonstop exclusive injury analysis from experienced team doctors from all 3 major sports. Doctors with resumes that include teams like the Chicago Bulls, the Texas Rangers, and the LA Chargers. So gain a fantasy, DFS, and betting edge right now for free at sicscore.com.
Diamond Bets.
Fernando Tatis Jr. getting popped for a PED suspension for 80 games. Now, I know performance-enhancing drugs are something that, even here at the network, they encourage us, especially myself. They say, please, can you enhance your performance just a little bit more, Joe? This year, it's not going to happen next year for a good chunk of the season. And guess what? This is more important now that you added Juan Soto. So obviously this news rocked Major League Baseball.
Only on Sports Grid.
You might be the next daily fantasy millionaire. No matter what you watch or where you play, learn from the world's best DFS players. Lineup building tools, expert projections, and advanced stats change the way you play the game. Dominate the competition. DailyRoto.com, the player's choice.
Ferrall, coast to coast.
They're not going to start him. So if he comes in, hypothetically, let's say things don't go well and you're at the halfway point, week 8, week 9, you start playing him. I don't believe you can win Rookie of the Year starting halfway through. That kid, Pickens, if they throw him the ball enough, he has looked phenomenally well over any kid I've seen yet
the Sports Grid Network.
All right, fast forward Ferrall in your facial, the Ferrall finish. So Draymond Green got married and no one cares. But I did care when I saw that he had a gigantic weed table set up at the wedding. The guy had a man rolling blunts for all of the people at the wedding. Now, I went to my buddy's wedding. He had the cigar roller. But when you step it up to the chronic table, guy rolling blunts, that's when you know you're top shelf. I wonder how many of those NBA guys there were smoking fatties at that wedding. It sounded like a good time. Aqib Talib's brother wanted for murder after a fatal shooting at a football game in Texas. Jesus. 6-year-old girl punched and robbed of her scooter in broad daylight in New York City. Such a lovely city I live in. So much crime and so many murders. It's just fantastic. A gambler at Tampa Seminole Hard Rock gets robbed after bragging, winning $53,000 and dancing around the casino. Rolled in the parking lot for all the money. Carver High. You got to be careful. Several hospitalized after fecal matter exposure at the water park in Kansas. Now, what was great about this story, Carver High, was they were getting hit in the face with water splash, and they were drinking the fecal matter. They all got sick. That is awesome. French ski champion Adele Malose dies at 26 after falling in the Alps. How is it that the skier always ends up falling off a cliff? Texas teen arrested for murder after allegedly shooting and killing a woman while she visited her son's grave. They killed her for no reason. Mariah Carey's Atlanta home broken into and robbed while she was on vacation. You'll have that. Armed Arizona man detains murder suspect who allegedly ran over their neighbor with a car and stomped his head. I love getting stories like this, Carver. Nothing like friendly love between neighbors. Here, come on over while I stomp your skull and run over you with a vehicle. That is awesome. Frozen pizza recalled after customers find metal chunks in their pepperoni and sausage pizza. Carver High, are we having delivery tonight? TV is next. We'll see you tomorrow.